You know, Chat GPT is not my friend in many ways because too often the temptation to simply take the prompt and pop it into GPT and have it write the essay or assignment is a great one. I understand that. But there are ways to use Chat GPT that are absolutely wonderful. So I have my Chat GPT open and I'm going to have it help me with an expository essay, a rhetorical essay. Now, I've been given, let's say, for example, a piece of literature, and I need to find the themes of that literature. And that can be challenging. And in some essays where there is, or novels or pieces of literature, where there isn't a lot of study guide material through Google or search engines, it's great to go to ChatGPT. Let me show you how. One of my favorite adventure novels is White Jacket by Herman Melville. Most people read Moby Dick in school and they're required the reading, but this one is spectacular. Now, it's not that well known, and so finding a study guide for White Jacket could be challenging. So let's go over to ChatGPT and see if it can help find the themes, a plot summary, and so forth. You all probably know how to do this, but I'm going to go through it anyway. So I'm going to write into the chat what I want it to find. I'm glad this wasn't an easy one so I can show you. So I typed in create a summary in Times New Roman 12 font and the themes for White Jacket. Okay, so here is their summary, and I asked it to include research where it found this information. Okay, so we have this. I'm not going to use, I am not going to copy this and paste it into my essay and use it. That is cheating. That is plagiarism. But I can use some of the information here and then find quotes from the actual novel itself to prove that these points are legitimate. Now we have the themes, which is very helpful in study because themes are sometimes multiple and they're a challenge to try to find, and it's great to have this resource. I really enjoy this resource. Now, depending on the essay, I can pick and choose which themes I want to explore. And I can do that by highlighting that, creating a new Chat GPT, asking GPT if it will find that information. Now, I asked it continually for the citation, and it's giving me Project Gutenberg, Google, so forth. So I keep going and I keep asking it, where are you finding this information? And so it gives me, that's right, Wikipedia, which I suspected. But let's go over to Wikipedia and just take a quick look-see. Now, although Wikipedia is not a legitimate source, Wikipedia does rely on references. So I'm going to scroll down past all this, and I'm going to come down to the references portion where this information came from. So here are the notes, and I don't see an article there that I can click on that gives me a legitimate source until I get right down here. And there is the article of my dreams. And that's where I think ChatGPT was getting a great deal of information. Do you see? This is a legitimate book written about White Jacket by an author. So I'm going to add this to my EasyBib project, which I'll go over in a second. And I'm going to go over, I don't want to read 148 pages. I'm going to go over to ChatGPT and ask it to summarize this. I know, it just gives you chills. So I asked it to summarize Melville's, the article that we just saw, which is a 148-page book, and it gives me this information. And I can use all of it. So that's a way to use ChatGPT for your scholarly writing. Now let's look at one of the problems with this. Now I asked ChatGPT to create citations for both this book of article about White Jacket, and the other citation that I used for the novel here. Okay, those look okay. There's sometimes that this Chat GPT does not get the citation correctly, which takes us over to EasyBib, not everybody's favorite app, but let's go. So what I did is go over to EasyBib, and again, if I knew of another app that would format a works cited page correctly, I would use it, but there isn't one, and the AI apps do not format correctly, and they don't format in alphabetical order and so forth. So this is why we want to use this resource. So I just copied and pasted that citation from EasyBib, and let's see what happens. Okay, we don't want Wikipedia. It's from Goodreads. We used the one from Gutenberg, so there it is. That's the one that I used. So let's cite that. So there we go. You see what I mean? I can use that information from ChatGPT, still put it in my EasyBib, and still have a proper document. Because otherwise I'm going to be trying to alphabetize all those things from ChatGPT, and it's going to take so much time. All right, let's go back over to ChatGPT. I'm going to end this part by reminding you that this is for the research for the essay that you will be writing. Some of it you can use. For example, a statement like this, and then I follow it with, for example, or this is shown on page yada yada when this or that happens, then it's perfectly fine to use the information. But if I copy everything here and I just paste it into the paragraph and claim that as my own original content, then I've got a problem. So this is where you want to use good judgment. You want to ask me if you've got a question. If you're not sure about something, ask me, and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. The themes, whichever ones you want to use, and you can ask for even more themes and more information, but this is the way ChatGPT can be of great help. Now let's look at how I can use ChatGPT in narrative writing when I'm writing my own piece of fiction. Yes, I can use it for that too. I'll show you. As you may know, I have been working on this novel for quite a while, and it's a novel, so that means it's 1,000,000 words. And I personally am so tired of trying to find new ways to describe dirt, dust, and sagebrush that I need a little bit of help, a little bit of inspiration. I don't want ChatGPT to write the content for me. I've just got a little bit of a writer's block. So let's go together. I went over to the chat and I just asked it to write 20 descriptions of West Texas. Now, I'm not going to copy and paste these descriptions. I'm looking for words that are going to help me. I like rugged terrain. That's going to help me. Rolling plains, rocky mesas. Well, there aren't any mesas where we're playing in our story, but distant mountains creating a landscape both unforgiving and breathtaking. I like unforgiving. Breathtaking is a word that's overused, but I like unforgiving. So I'm going to copy these words and maybe even parts of the phrases, and I'm going to save them in where I have all my notes for Knights in Special Armor, and I'm going to use part of them. If I copy and paste all this stuff here, ancient, that's not my style, y'all. I'm writing a folksy novel. It is written conversationally. It is written with West Texas style and words and flavor and motif. I'm not writing ancient fossils and, but I can use this for inspiration. I can find some places that I can use, some words that I can use. Humbles, isolates, invites reflection under a sky too big to hold. I wouldn't use that, but I do like some of these things. So that's how I can use this in narrative writing. Now, I don't know how you all feel about narrative writing, and I'm going to spend these last 20 seconds on this. Nobody's going to write my story but me. Nobody. Not ChatGPT, not any of the other AI things, not anything. Nobody has possession of my characters and my story but me. I am the creator of this story. I am in control of the story. I can get help along the way in writing and coming up with words when I feel blocked and I need to expand my vocabulary. But nobody comes in and dictates content to me. So I don't know if that's the way you feel about your narratives that you're writing, but I want to remind you that many greenlit projects started just this way, with a student writing a narrative story and coming up with an interesting idea. Noteworthy is Good Will Hunting. That was a project in school. And so just keep that in mind, but still, it's a great resource to use. And that concludes this tutorial on the proper ways to use ChatGPT and other AI to help research your writings.